Black History Month on Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. We air every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today's special guest is Mr. Frederick Beatty out of Atlanta, Georgia, an author and podcast host, Part 2.
Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. I am Laura Simmons. I have with me Ursula D. Allen,
Hello, everyone.
Shanita J. Montgomery,
Hi, everybody.
and Margaret Green.
How you doing, darling?
Yeah, y'all may have not understood, but why I went the way I did, but well, today, guys, we have a special guest who's back for part 2 of his interview. We had a lot of requests for him to come back on the show. So we have Frederick Beatty here tonight, and we will be talking to him, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about his projects, his podcasts, his books, and everything. So before we get to him, we want to get started on our real estate nugget for today.
Hello, everybody. And the real estate nugget for today is just something to reiterate and concerning your buying. And what I want to tell you is once you are credit ready and are ready to buy and you have signed your contract, ratified your contract on the house that you're looking at buying, don't go and change anything. Don't change jobs. Don't make any major purchases until you have closed on that mortgage, till you get to the closing day and you have signed your papers and you have the keys. Because if you do that, that's going to be the biggest mistake you can make, and they can actually shut down your closing right then and there. Because the bank or the mortgage company, they're going to run your credit the day of your closing. So they want to make sure that you haven't added any furniture debt, anything to your credit since you've been approved from the beginning. They're going to make sure, they're going to call it your employer, and they're going to check to see if you're still on that same job that you had on your application. So whatever you do, don't change anything, because when you do that, it doesn't matter if the job is giving you a raise. I mean, if the job that you want to take is going to give you a bigger income. It doesn't matter. If you can delay that transition, delay it as much as possible. Because some people think, well, it's more money. They should be glad. No, because they're looking at the fact that they don't know for sure if you're going to stay on that job that you just transferred to. You can take that job today, and 30 days later, after probation, they can let you go. So they rather have you to have longevity on the job that you're currently on, and they know that they can be for sure that they're going to get their money, the mortgage payments, than to have you switch to a job making more money and then you don't last on that job for no more than a month or two. So keep that in mind when you make that jump into real estate to buy your first home or buy your second home, whatever it is. Just keep that in mind. And that's my golden nugget for today.
Good job. Thank you so much. Shanita J., what do you have for us today?
Today, we're going to take a Black History Month spotlight. Today, we're going to talk about Garrett Morgan. I know you've all heard of him, but his name is Garrett Augustus Morgan Sr. He invented the traffic light. At that time, it was called the 3-position signal light. And that was just to prevent people from hitting other cars. I mean, it was just driving all kinds of people. Could you imagine the horsepower we have now back then with no lights? Oh, my goodness. Anyhow, I also didn't know, but he invented the smoke hood, notably used in 1916 in the tunnel construction disaster rescue. He was born in March the 4th, 1877, and he passed July 27th, 1963.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. That's not that far. I thought it was way before then. Okay.
Wow, that's good.
And moving right along to our celebrity news. Do you guys remember the lady calling me now? Miss Cleo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cleo.
Okay.
Yeah, I called her
Call me
one time.
now.
Oh Lord.
I figured you would.
So they're getting ready to do a documentary on her.
Why?
I get. Well, I mean, it was a big scam, So I think they're gonna dig into what the scam was, what happened, and how. So, but I didn't know she passed away in 2016 of cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but she made a lot of money off of calling me now. I just remember
Call me
not
now.
having cable, and that would always come on like on TGI Fridays and stuff like that. Good times, good times. And further news, the Williams sisters are going to grace the cover of Harper Bazaar's magazine. Are you guys here for that? They look amazing, I must say.
No, that's good.
And in more positive news, we have the education department to erase $415 million in student loan debt for nearly 16,000 borrowers, former DeVry University students included.
Oh
Wow.
man, I
Dang,
missed the
that's
cut.
good, but I wish I was still, they came after me. They sent me they called me on the phone and threatened me and told me, look, if you don't pay us our money, we coming after you. I'm
You never know, you
serious.
might get a
And
windfall.
then I had to set up a payment plan with them when I was paying my student loan back. I called myself. I thought, see, I didn't know back then that they gonna catch you. They'll find out where you at.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they
So I
gonna
thought
find you.
because
They
I
like
had a
FBI.
different phone number,
Yeah.
a different address and stuff, I thought they couldn't find me. Boy, them people got in contact with me. They got threatened me on the phone. You should have seen me giving him my accounting information.
And I have one more story, y'all. One more.
Go ahead.
It's, so do you guys remember CarriRichardson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how she tested positive
Mhm.
For marijuana use.
marijuana, and
She
she couldn't race. Well, there was a Russian figure skater who also tested positive, but they still let her.
No.
And so she's definitely furious, and she has every right to be, because that made headlines, and I think that's partly why when she did race, she didn't do all as great as she did originally. Her momentum wasn't as up as it was before, and she also lost her mom. She actually had, to each his own. I'm not going to judge her.
Right.
To each his own. She had she was grieving, and she felt that was the best way for her to cope, or to cope through. Not saying it's right or it's wrong. That's her business. That ain't mine. Mm-hmm. However, why did this girl get to go? Why she get to skate?
Right.
How
I
does
don't
that
like
make
that.
make that make sense?
But she still failed too, though. The one that they did let go ahead and skate, she didn't win anything.
Well, of course not.
I'm pretty sure she had pressure on her too. Right, but they still shouldn't have allowed her to keep on going down.
No, not at all. So that's my celebrity news and my Black History Month tribute for today.
That was good, girl.
That was good information. What about you, Ursula? What you got for us?
So, I want to say two things. I want to say first that my favorite group, New Edition, started their 30 city tour last night. Woo woo! They kicked off their tour in Columbus, Georgia. The next, well, I'm not sure where they're going next, but I know they're gonna be here in the A on Sunday.
Okay.
And they're gonna be going to everywhere, and I know everybody is excited. And my second thing I want to say that if they can do a movie on Miss Cleo, I said they can do one on Laura, because Laura is like the hardest working woman that I know as far as this business. I ain't joking. I know I sound crazy, but as far as this writing, her books, her podcast, her networking,
her past relationship with Flavor.
Flavor Flav.
I'm just saying, I think she is like the hardest working woman in show business that people don't know yet. So we need to make a petition for Laura to have a document. Hey, Laura, do me a favor.
What?
Just do like this. Say, call me now. Maybe
Go
they
on
get.
in
Maybe they
now.
get you.
Go
Okay.
on in now.
You in now? You in, girl? We got you.
Good information. Good information.
You talking about good information?
Okay. So let me tell y'all what I got. Okay. So did y'all see that they got a new biopic coming out for the First Lady Michelle Obama? Did y'all see?
I
No.
didn't see that.
Okay.
No. I hope
So
it's not
they
like
have
her.
Miss Viola Davis. She's playing the part of Miss Michelle Obama. Actually, if
Oh.
you guys see the the trailer, it is awesome. They really did good with picking their cast for
Okay.
this new movie coming out. Viola Davis actually looks just like Michelle Obama on the trailer.
Wow.
So yeah, they did really good. Then also I wanted to mention this. So
Transformation then. Wow.
yeah. So also I wanted to mention this too as well. So we've been talking about Black History Month, all about Black History Month, and I forgot to mention about American Heart Month. This is American Heart Month, and so I wanted to just like kind of give a few tips about heart health, lower blood pressure, and stuff. So, some of the things that I wanted to say, I wanted to mention about foods that are good for to help lower the blood pressure, like blueberries, green peas, oatmeal, bananas are some of the foods that are good for to keep the blood pressure lower. And I also wanted to say this to maintain your weight. I got like 8 things that I wanted to say about good heart health to keep the heart healthy and stuff. They said maintaining a healthy weight is 1, cutting down on your salt is 2, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, that's 3. Um, choose whole grains, that's 4. Include healthy sources of protein. Try to stay away from processed foods, minimize sugary drinks and foods, and limit alcohol consumption. So those are my tips for
You
today.
left one off.
What's that?
Stay away from dirty men.
What is
Stay
dirty?
away from what?
Dirty
Dirty
men.
men.
Oh,
Yeah,
dirty man.
that will help keep your blood pressure low. I promise you.
I have one though, a serious one.
Okay.
Tart cherry juice.
Okay.
Oh, tart.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh
Yeah, they
yeah.
say that's good for inflammation as well.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Somebody laughing at you. You girl, you is crazy. Y'all crazy. But that was my things, my little gold nuggets for today that I wanted to mention. And I just think that it is appropriate for Ursula to announce our guest of the night.
Hey, yes, I will. I will take that pleasure and honor. Come to the stage. We have my boy Frederick Beatty, and me and him go back all the way to when we was some little youngsters. In Eastwood coming up in the deck. Okay, y'all act like y'all know who he is. This boy is a phenomenal writer. He is a very prolific artist. I love him. He is the bee's knees. Give it up for Frederick Beatty, please, y'all.
Yay!
First
Welcome
lady,
to
first
the
lady, first lady.
show, Frederick. Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you. Thanks for having me back.
Oh yeah, well, of course we had to have you come back. Before we get started on letting you talk, I wanted to show this picture first, y'all. Ah!
Girl, calm.
That picture actually remind me of Isaac K. Or Isaac is it Isaac Hayes? I still
Yeah,
remind me.
Shaft. Oh
What they say when they say self shut
Shut
your
your
Shut
mouth.
mouth.
your mouth.
Shut your mouth. But I'm talking
So
about Shaft.
who is
I'm talking
the
about
man?
Shaft.
Oh, we talking about the
Okay.
wrong person, y'all. You said
All
Isaac
right.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Take Laura. It take Laura.
Yeah. All right,
Flavor
Frederick,
Flav.
let's get started. Give them a little bit of, a brief description of yourself. Somebody said, shut your mouth.
But I'm talking about
You're bad.
Shut your mouth.
So Frederick, give us a little bit about yourself, because you know what, last time you was here, we didn't really, I think we missed a couple of things, and it was something that you wanted to share with us, and so we want to give you this opportunity to, give us a little bit about you. Uh-huh.
But Ursula, me and you gonna have a talk. You talking about dirty men? What's that about?
I didn't say that.
Hey, come on. Yeah, he said me and him. But hey, let me tell you something, bro. I don't pull no punches. Now, if you get you a good man, it can help lower your blood pressure. But you get you that's in your blood pressure all the way up. You be out looking for them, trying to figure out where they at.
Sitting up here scrubbing on your head.
Right, doing all this right here.
What the heck happened here? Oh, yeah.
Just know that go both ways.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, bro. But I'm a good one. I'm a good one. So, I can't speak for the other one.
Who said you was a good one?
Hey, baby. I say, I'm a good one, baby.
She said she a good one. Not
yes,
a good
sir.
one, a good
I'm
one.
a good one.
Good and what?
That's that Decatur, Georgia coming out.
Hey.
Well, as much as I like to brag on myself, I actually don't. But since you're giving me the opportunity to do that, my name is Frederick Beatty. I am a podcaster, author. Geez, what else do I do? Good grief. Blogger, good grief. What else? Advocate for domestic violence, social justice, human trafficking, human rights. Geez, I have a lot of hands in a lot of things, but the one thing that I try to keep my hands out of so many things, because then you get burnt out. But that's me in a nutshell.
That's good. That's good. Being proactive.
Okay, so
I try to be.
Okay, Margaret.
What?
Kick it off with your question, baby girl.
Oh my goodness.
That's it. Okay. What made you start your podcast?
Oh man, she started off with the easy one. I thought I was gonna get hammered.
Not yet.
Oh, that means they're coming. So so what started off on my podcast? First and foremost, I was already podcasting anyway. I was working for someone by the name of Carolyn Ballard, and I was working for her platform, Diversity of Minds Blazing Heat Radio. She pulled me in around 2016 or 17. I think it was 17 to be more precise. And I was working for her, and she taught me a lot about, how to be a presenter, how to, talk to guests, how to search for guests, how to, just have a conversation with them. And she taught me a lot about, the business side of it, how to manage it, how to keep it going, how to make it prosperous and things of that nature. So after being with her for like maybe 3 or 4 years, I decided to venture out on my own. And it wasn't like a snub to her or anything like that, because no matter who I talk to on whoever's platform I'm on, I will always give her the homage and the respect that she deserves, because she's the one that helped me start this journey. And I will always give her respect, even though we may or may not, even though we are probably, even though we're not on real good terms right now, but I always give her respect regardless, because she's the person that put me on the path. And really just number one, just wanted to be start my own platform, but also be kind of stand out from everybody else. So I thought of the name, pull some other people in, Quint Jones, Coco Fenton, Terrence Jackson, Barbara Melvin. They jumped on board, and now they're aligned with me. They have their own platforms. They have their own shows up under the platform. So just going out and just getting good people to be aligned with me. That was one of the things. So and I wanted to be I wanted to try to strike out on my own and see if I was able to do it. And here we are, a little over a year later, still rocking.
One more question. with everything that you have accomplished and the things that you have done, the author, the podcast, the different things that you have done, has there ever been a moment in your life that you wanted to say, you know what, I can't do this?
Wow,
Hmm. That's
that's a good question.
that's at least once a day. That's at least once a day. So, and the reason I say once a day is because there's so many things that go into what I do. Laura can attest to this, can most definitely attest to this because of the things she has her hands in.
Mhm.
And there's always there's always one other meeting. There's always one other person to talk to. There's always um one other thing to look at, another podcast to edit, another podcast to monitor, or another page to write in a book. And sometimes that becomes overwhelming. So there have been times where I'm like, if I stop doing this, or if I stop doing this right now, maybe certain things will get accomplished. But then I look at it from the perspective of I've came too far to be dropped off, just to drop myself off right here. There's still so many people that I can touch with
Yeah.
speaking through a microphone or writing words on
Mhm.
paper. So yeah, I have my days, but when I look at it, from the bigger perspective, there's always a person that needs to hear what I have to say through this microphone or through the words on a page.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good for being selfless like that. That's good.
Okay. Shanita J.
So you talk about human trafficking. What inspired you to, be kind of an advocate for, making sure you save some lives?
You know, that started when I was in Florida. A gentleman by the name of Christopher King. He's a grandson of the late BB King, and we became friends. Um, so I won't even say so long ago. I say maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Went to one of his events. He has an event that's called the Gentleman's Ball, and it's for human trafficking, but it's also he also has this thing called the Gentleman's Course that's underneath that. So he teaches young kids etiquette, your 30 human rights, but he also talks a little bit about human trafficking, and that's kind of sort of where my advocacy came in. Me and him had a nice long talk about, you know, first of all, where he stood and where he stood at as far as that's concerned. And he wanted to gauge where I was at. Now that once we had that talk, he wanted to gauge where I was. And just seeing him in action through the through his galas, also seeing him in action teaching kids, and watching things that he does. He's been to the United Nations. He's been to the United Nations. He's gotten a presidential medal. Those are, you know, those are accomplishments that one anybody can aspire to. But I look at but for the grand scheme of things, as far as being involved as an advocate, he was the one that kind of really pushed me towards that, because then there are stories that people can tell. There are stories that people can tell behind that without having to experience it. I mean, I
Mhm.
have a couple of friends of mine who names will remain anonymous, that's experienced that.
Mm.
And we don't talk all the time, but when we do talk, it's always a very enlightening and serious conversation. So anytime I try to put myself out there for that, I think of them, and I always want to make sure that when I speak about that, it's always something that's relevant.
That's cool.
Okay, well that's great. Because it's going on all over the place. Actually, there's a woman in my neighborhood that actually walks. She literally walks from the top of the street to the back of the street to the main road with something that says "Stop human trafficking our children."
Yeah.
Because it's but it's not just children. It's children.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what age or gender.
Yeah.
And it
You
is
better
a
have
very
these.
serious thing.
You better be ready. You better be ready, because I
Mhm.
mean, I'm serious. You have to be ready.
Yeah.
You have either these or
Or
that
that
you
or
know.
something.
Yeah, because
They
and
got
it's sad.
concealed weapon courses everywhere. And
Yep.
there's
Oh
nothing
yeah.
wrong with taking those courses to protect yourself. It's just,
Mhm.
unfortunately, with getting a concealed weapon, you can have that. But for us black folks, we have to worry about the other side of that, getting pulled over. And we have it, but we're scared to say, okay, I have this.
Yeah,
But that's a
because he,
topic for another day.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ursula?
Okay, yeah. So I just want to ask you.
Dirty
So
men.
Oh, somebody told me that somebody posted this for you, Ursula.
get him, Ursula. Somebody said, get him, Ursula. Who? Okay, Facebook user. I wish I knew your name, but thank you. But so I just want to ask you. So we had a conversation, and we talked about our writing, and I expressed to you that sometimes I write, and I don't know how to express myself fully because I worry about my image. I worry about my family members who may read, or about stepping on toes or offending someone. And you said that you always write, what you feel. And so I want to know, is your writing therapeutic? And talk about that as it relates to your most current project.
Writing for me is always therapy, regardless of what I'm feeling. If I'm feeling happy, or if I'm feeling sad, or if I'm feeling indifferent, it's always therapy for me because nothing brings me nothing brings me joy than putting pen to paper.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, if whether it's for a book, or whether if I'm writing a small script for my audio podcast or whatnot. So that's always been joy for me. Now, as far as like the other thing that you mentioned, I don't worry about that. I don't worry about what people or even family members say, because what I say is what I say. It's it can be interpreted however many ways they want to interpret it, but at the end of the day, it's my truth.
Yep.
And if people can't handle your truth, then they really don't need to listen to your truth. That's what I say. And with my most recent work it's a book of poetry, and it talks about my experiences from a young child all the way up to an adult, up to this moment in time. There are a lot of things that I speak about on that. I talk about, how difficult it was for me to fit in as a kid, um, amongst folks who I grew up to, who I looked at were larger than life and bigger and larger than life in my own neighborhood, um, to um, running away from home, that and what that cost me, making a decision to join the military, and my experience with marriage, how I viewed religion, um, how I deal with, you know being a failed father, dealing with loss, you know struggling to maintain a relationship with my kids now, and there's so many things I dealt with. I wrote about, and it had always come to the forefront of the back of my mind that somebody may not like what I write. And at the end of the day, I say, the hell with it. The hell with it. I mean, that's just being serious, because
Yeah.
you either like what I'm writing about, or you don't. For me, this is my truth. This is the prism of how I view things, from
Mm-hmm.
a child to a teenager, to a young adult, to an adult, and every experience I've had from that point. You know, the one thing, my mom read it. She bought it. She's the first one that bought it, and she read it, and she came in and she gave me a great big old hug, and she was like, "Hey, that's your truth. You tell it." I'm like, "Wow." And for her to say that means a lot, because
Right.
a lot of that was most of what I wrote about was just me growing up as a child, growing up as a kid. Being a sheltered child, not being able to do a lot of things like go outside and play with everybody else. That does have a profound effect on you as a child. But then also there are so many other things that happened out of that. You know, Again, running away from home, joining the military, um, being in an abusive being in an abusive situation, but also being an abuser, and then so many other things that happened between after that. It's really a culmination of my thought processes and what I felt growing up and stuff like that. And it was very therapeutic and cathartic for me.
Wow.
Awesome.
Ursula, I'm gonna just let you. See who that was.
Okay. Hey Verna, that is one of our friends. Verna said, "Good evening, everyone."
Good evening. Good
Hey
Good
evening.
evening.
Verna.
How are you doing? How you doing?
Hello.
Um. Okay. So my
That in.
question to you is it's my turn. It's my turn, y'all. So you know, I have a bunch of mentors, that people that I look up to. Do you have mentors? And if you do you ever go back to them to ask questions about something that you're unsure about?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do. I do have mentors. Oh my goodness, writing and things of that nature. I have a couple of mentors. One of them is a young lady by the name of Rahima Sanders. I was signed up under her publishing label when I first broke in as a writer. To this day, we talk, and I always ask her about certain situations or certain things that I write about, and she always gives me great advice, and she always tells me that, hey, and she always encourages me to say, hey, you can do this. And that's one of my mentors. The other person that I have is this young lady by the name of Susie Newton. She's been really phenomenal as far as helping me with the all around part, not just the writer part of it, but the fine tuning the podcasting part of me, fine tuning the business aspects, the business managing the business aspect side of me. She she's been really phenomenal as far as that's concerned, and I appreciate her for that, because I've been rocking with her since 2016, and it's 2021 now. That's 5 years in, and I'm still rocking with her, and she still gives me great advice, and I always go to her when there's a difficult question or a difficult issue that I have to face. Um, and then Miss Carolyn Ballard. I mean, even though we don't talk as often as I'd like, I still consider her a mentor, because she
Mhm.
told me so much about this radio and podcasting thing as a whole, and that is something though that is something that when you have people like that, that is something that is very valuable, and you can't quantify that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. It's 2022. Not trying to be rude. I just wanted to point that out.
Hey, sorry.
Danielle Johnson said, "Good evening, everyone."
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
Danielle.
Evening.
Danielle.
Hey,
How are
Danielle.
you?
Okay. You back
That's a
around to
loyal
you.
viewer right there.
Yeah, it is. And we appreciate you, Danielle. Uh,
Yes,
Margaret Green is back on you, church lady.
that church lady.
She said
Not the
church like,
church
oh boy.
lady.
And nobody mentioned Flavor Flav, but she's still sending shots.
Shots fired,
Um,
shots fired.
Wow, you guys had the arsenal just now. I'm sorry.
Put one right
Mercy
across her
Margie ain't
bow.
even over her mouth yet.
see now, don't start with me. All of y'all little Thundercats, y'all,
I'm on your side, sis.
you
I
I'm
little
was
on
on
your
your
side.
side
Thundercats.
too. Hold on.
Beaty said he on your side.
Miss Laura Simmons look like that a Rastafarian over there.
Oh,
Just don't come and get me. I'm on your side. I promise. Okay. Put it
oh
down.
my god.
Bumbaglot.
You know what? I had to get that in there because I know she was gonna get at me. She's the same person that mentioned that I was dating Flavor Flav back in the in the day. So ever since then, I just had to figure out something. So the way she be sitting up there, sometimes it remind me of church lady from Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God. Danielle said, "All right, all right, all right."
My goodness.
y'all, y'all know y'all ain't got no sense. But let me ask this question concerning you and your children. How have you been able to build that relationship that you had, that you felt that wasn't where it should be? How are you able to continue to build on it with your kids, and to and let them know that you are there for them, and and they can come to you and talk to you about anything, because sometimes that's a hard thing for parents, not only for the children, but sometimes it's a hard thing for the parents.
Right.
Oh, that's a daily process. When I tell you it's a daily process, because the number one, there's a significant amount of distance between myself and my
Mhm.
children. Um, Unfortunately, one is not here to with us now as we're speaking. But there are three other kids that I still have to try to manage and try to be as much as a father that I can to them. Now, each child's circumstance, as far as their relationship, is different, but it's a daily process. So it's always keeping the lines of communication open. You know, when when a child doesn't want to talk to you after you tell them your truth, and you know, and this is with my middle son, and this is just me being extremely transparent. Telling my son telling my middle child my truth as far as my and his mother's relationship, and how certain things came to be. It kind of pushed him away. But at the same time, I say, my thing is always I give it time.
Yeah.
When he's ready, he'll ask the questions that he needs to ask.
Yeah.
With my
'Cause
daughter, it was just an excellent opportunity to be at one of the most important and significant moments in her life, and that was her wedding. And I was so happy to be there, and just to be able to spend that time with her and to talk to her and to get so many things reconciled, and even talking
Mhm.
to her mom to reconcile that part of it. That meant a lot. And then you know, he lives in California, so I try to talk to him as much as I can. Even though he's the he's the youngest guy, I try to. You can only do so much talking, and you can only do so much things on the back end. Sometimes you just have to do. You just have to demonstrate your love and your care for them, instead of just talking about
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I
Because
definitely get that.
If
they
and
watching what you
my
do
message
and
is for
say.
any young parent.
And sometimes they listen, and they wait till they're ready to express how they feel, but they taking it in. And I'm speaking from experience. My mom would say things, and I would just take it in. She said, "Take what you need right now, and the rest leave it for a later date." And that's what I do. So. And I think that's what they're doing. They're going to wait until the time is right, and then they'll probably discuss it further with you, or however they.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Shanita Jack.
And patience is key though.
Oh yeah.
Patience is very
Yeah.
much the key.
So, what is something that motivates you, um, to keep pushing? Are you your motivator, or is there something that fuels you? What keeps you going?
Now that's the easy one. It's the ability to touch a life either through a page of a book or through this microphone.
Mhm.
That's what keeps me pushing. To be able to, if I'm able to change a life through what are the words I speak or the words that I write. I mean, it's not always a mission accomplished, because as much as most people would think that it's a mission accomplished, it is and it is not, because you can change your life, but you can say the words that can inspire change, but they have to still be able to make the change. So
Mhm.
as long as I'm living and breathing to do that, that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me going every day when I wake up.
I got one more. Um, would you think about making sure that for those lives that you change, right? Like, say someone approached you, right? Um, what would be something that you would say to them to keep them going? Like, say they say, "Okay, I read your book and it inspired me in a certain type of way." What would be something but they're looking for something more? Is there anything more that you could give? Just being human, anyway.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, if there's ways, put action behind it. If someone were to approach me and say that they were in they just left an abusive situation, of course, hey, let's find a shelter. Let's go to a police station or wherever. So there's always action behind the words that
Right.
I write. And if I can't help you in a physical way, there's always resources that I can give. You know, if I can offer somebody my business card and say,
That's
hey, if you
amazing.
want me to talk, call, we can talk. Or, let's go to a local coffee shop. Let's have a coffee and a donut or whatnot, and let's talk about it. And then let's figure out what your next steps are at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great because sometimes that's all somebody needs. Sometimes
Or
that
just an ear.
little
The
bit,
ear. That's right.
yeah, and that little, so like you care. You know what I'm saying? Not saying like you got to be besties or anything, but sometimes that care, it goes a long way for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially when it's genuine.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Daniel Johnson said, yes, action speaks louder than words. Definitely. Definitely.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to add, I have a few questions.
Has to.
Don't say anything else about dirty men. Someone said, yes, someone to just listen. That's right, Verna. That's right. But what I want to ask you is, like I said, I have a few questions. How many books exactly do you have?
Exactly.
Yeah. I ain't talking
6.
about what you're working on now. 6?
You guys how many books do I exactly have? 6.
Yeah,
I've written
okay.
3 as a co-author and 3 that I've actually written.
See, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I'm noticing. Your phone keeps going. I mean, your thing keeps going like a little bit. But what I noticed is that you're not talking to the other ladies like that, bro. So look, give me my respect too. I'm just joking with you, but no.
She want to
What
hit
is
you. She want
what
to hit
is
you, really.
Wow.
no
She do.
no?
I could tell.
That's the East week coming.
I could feel it through the. I could feel it through the camera. She really want to hit you.
Come
Frederick.
on, baby.
I
Be
don't want no
careful.
smoke. I don't want
Watch,
no smoke. Look,
be
I don't want no
careful,
smoke.
Frederick. Watch your back
Yeah, you
in
do.
Atlanta. Watch your back. Watch your back. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you do.
You see how misery loves to spread and get company. Because she used to date Flavor Flav. She the church lady. She like, Shanita, come on now.
I
We
didn't say
together. We together, right?
my
Okay.
mama always said my name is Bennett and I
I ain't in it.
That's
My name
okay,
Paul. That's
Shanita.
between y'all.
Your name
But
Paul. Okay.
hush. But no. So y'all are so
I'm
silly.
just being respectful. Period.
Thank you.
All
So
right.
among your 6 books, which is your favorite?
That's a good
Which
question.
one that you have the most fun working on? It's your work.
You gonna
So,
put me on a spot like that?
hey,
That's good. That's a good
That's a
question.
good question.
Stop scratching your side and answer the question.
brother,
Mm-mm.
cutthroat here. I'm telling you now.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Let's get
That's
it.
a good question. It
Uh-huh.
really is.
It
Hmm.
stumped you, didn't it?
It really did. You see me over here, I'm rubbing my beard trying to figure
Yeah,
out
I seen that. That's why I said, yeah. She got
if I
you.
say one if
She
I say
got you,
one
bro.
thing, it's gonna be wrong.
What Martin
So
said, she got you, bro.
you got me good. You got me real good, fam. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that offline because
Come on, it's your all of them are your
so
projects, so
which
it's
one
okay.
joy in writing? Loaded question. So the the standard answer I would say all of them, but that's the standard answer.
That's how you do it.
The real answer would be the road less traveled.
Okay,
Okay.
let me
You
write that
said
down.
roll less traveled.
Yeah, the road less traveled.
Yep, that's the one that brought me the most joy.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why I asked you that.
Why you say that?
Because me and Laura had talked about possibly doing a book club among the million other things that Laura do. And so I would like to possibly feature your favorite book for the first month of our book club. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Mm-hmm.
It would be.
And then
I
you can
love it.
come back. Yeah, you can come back and talk about it after we take it apart. You come back and talk about it, and that would be just a great show, I think.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think so too.
See there, I wasn't trying to set you up.
Mm.
Not this time she
It's all
was.
love.
It's all love. He know it's all love, man.
Yeah, not this
Oh,
time.
one more thing I got to say. So I know that when I asked you about, getting your book, you know,
Blockbuster.
I, huh?
I feel the blockbuster coming though.
No, no. Um, Remember I asked you, did you want me to get it from Amazon or from you? Did you purchase some of your books yet?
Oh yes,
Are you
ma'am. I did.
Well, okay, well I just wanted you to shoot that information to Laura so she can post it up. So
I sure
Right,
did.
that's what
I
I'm
got
looking for
copies
now.
made.
So you can continue asking questions while I look
well
this
no,
up.
I don't want you to do it from Amazon. That's what I was saying. If he could, we can buy the book from him so he can, what I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
Find it.
get all the profit.
Right, right, right. I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to give it to
Oh,
them.
most definitely. Most
Yeah,
definitely.
You
yes,
got you
I
have a
can most definitely
website?
can do that for y'all. Not a problem. That's not a problem.
yes,
Do you have a
yes.
website?
Unfortunately, that's something I'm still working on.
Okay, well I'm just gonna put the title up and
No,
then
ma'am, not yet. Still
um
working on that.
oh
Right.
what road less traveled?
No, not. Well, I mean, that's the what
Yep.
we're gonna use for our first book
Book club.
club.
Okay.
But I wanted to put up some information, or I guess we can put it up on your page later for to purchase the his most recent book for the viewers and for everybody else, so we can support him on that.
Okay. So I'm gonna put it up here, Road Less
I
Traveled
got you.
by
I got you. I got y'all on that.
Okay.
I got y'all
yeah,
on
and
that.
then
I
they
can
can
definitely
just
give you.
purchase it.
I most definitely get that to Laura.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So what was my next question? My next question is how do you keep motivated through difficult times?
How do I keep motivated through difficult times? There are people that I lean towards when things get heavy,
Hmm.
and there are people that there are people that I look at when things get heavy. First of all, there's always an intrinsic trust in God. Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I look at my granddaughter, and I look at the things I'm doing, the things I'm doing. All the things that I'm doing are things that I'm leaving behind for her. And when I think about that and I look at her picture and I talk to her, those are things that keep me when things get really, really rough and really, really bad. Because I know that what I'm doing is for a positive purpose and that I'm leaving something behind for her to have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Frederick, you remember so the last show you was on when you came on the last time, you came on our show the last time. We talked
Mhm.
about what was it? We talked about you saying you giving us a little bit about one of your books. You was
Yeah,
mentioning that you wanted to do like a piece from your book. Did you still want to do that piece?
I do actually.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I do.
Okay.
I do. So This is the book I'm where it's coming from. This is my new release, Tapestry: The Interwoven Soul. So the piece I want to
Mm-hmm.
do for you guys tonight, um, it is called July 4th.
Mm.
There is I'm going to preface this because number one, I want two things I want to preface. Number one, language, but if I didn't include the language, it wouldn't be where it is, where
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
how I feel about it. And number two, this probably be a little uncomfortable. Apologize for that.
Okay.
So, excuse me. July 4th. As a parent, you never want to bury your child. But the unfortunate fact is I had to do exactly that. To receive that phone call and to be transfixed in that moment is something I will never forget. The myriad of emotions I felt and still feel varies from anger, sadness, disbelief, shame, failure, yearning, and a host of other feelings. I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would hurt so bad or still feel as lost now as I did then. To have my world flipped on its head and to feel so empty seems almost normal, even though I know it is not. It's not fair. You had your whole life ahead of you. It's not fair. You began to turn your life around for the better. You were looking forward to being a father. It's not fair. You are supposed to be here. You're supposed to be here for your daughter, to guide, love, and protect her. You're supposed to be here, guiding and leading your brothers and sisters. You're supposed to be here, even though our relationship was strained. I saw the limitless potential in you, and all I ever wanted was to see you flourish and thrive. I am glad that you chose to forgive me and allow our relationship to grow. However, I will never get to see those things, as your life was taken away from all those that love you. Your life was unjustly taken by someone who thought your life was not worth shit.
Mm.
Although I forgave that person, I can never forget the harm he brought upon you and the pain he caused, not only to me, but to those that knew, loved, cared, and supported you. July 4th will never be the same, and I will never celebrate it ever again. Not that it ever had meaning to me before. It doesn't mean shit to me now. So for those that think I'm being harsh, or to the very least unpatriotic, well, I don't know where that opinion can go because I honestly don't give a damn. If that was your black son or black daughter, you would feel the same.
Mm.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
Wow.
that's really good.
Deep. That's deep.
That's really deep.
That was
Yeah.
very deep. It
Now,
was
now,
very.
which book is that coming from? What's the
That's
title of
from
that?
the tapestry. What is this his current book.
Say it again.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
I didn't hear you. Oh, that's July 4th. That's from that's it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
That is
Okay.
from my most recently published book, and I'll make sure that you get that link, Laura. Make sure I'm looking for it right now as we're talking.
Okay. Yeah, just send it to me and I'll make sure I put it into my YouTube into our YouTube channel.
Danielle
Okay.
Johnson said, I'll look forward to being a part of you all's book club. Sounds amazing. Yay, Danielle, because we know that you are a faithful fan. Standing ovation. She's giving you a standing ovation for your reading, Beatty.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That
Good.
was
Thank
a
you
great
so much. That
that was
was
great.
really good.
Thank you.
Well, y'all know we
Thank you.
winding down. Our time is winding down. So we would like to ask you to give people where they can find you, follow you, and all the good details about yourself there.
Oh man, thank you for this. So if anybody wants to follow me on social media, you guys can at Mr. Beatty. You also guys can find me on Facebook at Frederick Beatty. You also can if you can also check me out on our Trailblazers Radio Instagram and Facebook page, which is basically spelled like it is. But we can, man. If you guys are looking, if you guys want to talk to me, if you guys want to just have a chat with me, if you want to just come on and just be a guest on our show, just reach out to me on via email at trailblazersradio@gmail.com. Or if you guys want to just have me me on as a guest on your show, you can reach at authorfl@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay. Y'all act like y'all getting snow down there or something. We getting all this snow up here and everybody coughing and sneezing and all this other stuff. But
Vid is still a thing. I just want to let you know.
Oh my God.
yeah, but I'm a little upset, y'all, because we getting so much snow I can't even see my street out here. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, look, just think
man.
last night
Well,
there
my
was
street
no
is
snow
nice
out
and
there.
clear.
There wasn't no
We
snow
just
out
got a
there at
little
all.
rain.
Now today you got
She
all
said,
the
when?
snow out
Oh
here.
my God.
And
She
I
said,
actually
when?
didn't wear no
Who
jacket
said that?
outside today.
I know. I'm about to take this sweatshirt off. It's so warm down here in the South.
Okay.
Yeah,
We get snow every 6 years.
my
or
weather's
so.
quite
I hope
dysfunctional.
y'all wake up tomorrow morning and it be snow up to y'all doorbells.
Girl, please. And y'all, everybody better be like, uh-oh, Jesus coming.
All they
Because
gonna do
we
is
You
put
don't
got that
sand
never.
right.
down. They don't put salt
Mhm.
down here.
We
Yeah,
don't have
y'all
we don't
know
have
nothing
snow
about
like
that
that.
kind of stuff. But I wanted to ask you one more question. I want to sneak one more question in before we close out. Who is your favorite author? Go ahead,
Blue
tell us.
Lewis. Blue Lewis. Go
Go
ahead, baby. Go
ahead.
on,
Go
tell her.
ahead. Tell Laura
Blue
Simmons.
Lewis. Blue
Laura
Lewis.
Simmons.
I got you. I got you.
Laura Simmons.
Don't embarrass her, okay?
Laura
Just
Simmons.
go slowly. Okay. Hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Give it to him.
Funny.
Get him the
Who is
information.
my favorite author?
Who's your favorite author?
Snow.
Snow. Did you say Snow?
I did not say Snow.
That's what he said. I'm like, okay.
What is in your cup? What is in your cup?
I don't have nothing. I had water. I was drinking water. I'm trying to
Vodka.
do right. Oh my
White?
gosh. I'm trying to do right.
Oh, I thought you
You
said
sure? You sure
white.
that's what's in your? You sure that's
No,
what's in your
I
cup?
said I'm trying to do right.
Thank you.
I don't have a cup, guys. It's a bottle. It was a bottle of water. Oh my
That's
gosh.
how we used to get them in the football games in the little water
Oh
bottle.
my
Go ahead.
gosh.
I had a friend like that.
You sure it's just water?
Right.
You sure it's just
It
water?
wasn't on no level though.
That's the water is the chaser.
All right, guys. Well, I guess you're never gonna answer the question.
I am.
You be dancing around
my
the
favorite
question.
author is.
Laura Simmons. Go ahead.
I'm not down.
He don't want to be in the middle.
My favorite
of y'all
author
riffraff.
is.
Julie Brown.
Yeah, because my favorite. I have so many, but if I had to narrow it down to one, my favorite author is Tom Clancy.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
Well, that's good.
Tom
Okay.
Clancy all up in my household.
Well, I just want to thank you, Frederick, for coming on our show today. We really enjoyed your coming back for a second show with us.
Ursula is doing Oprah from Color Purple. Almost gets
So you better watch yourself on the streets of Atlanta, Frederick. I told you that already. Didn't I just tell you that?
No, he know he good with me always.
I told you, yeah.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, we love you, Danielle. We love everybody that tuned into our show. We appreciate you guys. Because we know that you could have been doing anything else tonight, but you guys tuned in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends, and we truly appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
We appreciate you, Frederick Beatty, for coming on our show again.
Yes.
That was a great we really enjoyed your everything that you just said to us, and we really enjoyed the show today.
And you got to come back.
Yeah. And you didn't hog up the mic or nothing like that.
Oh my God. Oh, she did not just say, she didn't. You know what? Thank you so much for being here.
So we just wanted to truly bless you for coming on our show.
Oh Lord.
On that note, it's been blessed. We've been blessed, y'all.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining Laura Simmons
cannot.
Inspirational Talks with Laura Simpson. I said Simpson. Laura Simmons. Thank y'all as always. We love y'all. Y'all come on back.
We love to have
I
fun, you guys.
cannot.
Okay, we'll catch you on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we have a very interesting show coming up. My cast will be interviewing me for our last Black History Tuesday. So make sure you
boy.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we appreciate you coming on the show, Frederick. We truly appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, boy. Oh my gosh.
I love y'all too. Amazing show as always. Very inspirational. That was, of course, Danielle. We love you too. We'll see you next week. We'll see you Tuesday.
All right, y'all. All
She
right.
said,
Thank
boy.
you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
See you Tuesday. All right.